My answer is no. No to the Groypers. No to their publicists like Tucker Carlson. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse shit. No to anti-Americanism. No. This is our country. This is our party. And this is our conservative movement. And I will not stand by while it is handed over to those who betray the most fundamental principles I have spent my entire life defending and advocating. That is a path to defeat and a path to moral oblivion. I reject it because if
Welcome everybody to there I am. Welcome everybody to Real Deal Media Live. It is our college night, and yes, it is. I am Dean Ryan here, your wonderful host here in this very late night, as we are now almost well into December. Yet it feels like the holidays, doesn't it? I am so festive here tonight. Yeah, you saw right there, Mr. Shapiro, who is nominated for Real Deal Media's Dirty Zion Award, which I do have the results, I believe. If you haven't voted, there might still be time. Still might be time if you can find it. But anyways, that's just a little sample of what is the narrative going around town here as we almost close the week. But tonight is Real Deal Media Live. If you're new to this, it is kind of a lax night. We're going to open up the lines and look at the live chats and really circulate the headlines going around the world. In less than 90 days at this point, the news cycle is about every 90 minutes. Yes, and feel free to call in if you dare to. I am family friendly. Yes, I am. And I am potty trained. Yes, I am too. Feel free to do so. There it is right there. We are broadcasting live now. We are broadcasting live over there on TheRealDeanRyan at the travel page. Hello to all of you. Sad thing about last night, if you missed it, Facebook canceled our stream right in the middle of everything, and I tried to put it back, and it would not let me, so I do apologize for that. Very disappointing, but it was a real stunner. Last night was a members-only preview, but it was a real in-depth interview with Susan Bradford. Just incredible. If you missed it, it's still out there. It's on Spotify too. In case you don't know, yeah, we're on Spotify. Every episode's on Spotify if you're into that. So I do apologize, but it is on Real Deal Media tonight over there on Facebook, our other page that's frozen. So you can find it there. We're also broadcasting live on Dean Ryan TV over there on YouTube. Hello, everybody. And as well as Rumble, where we are very frosty, frozen over there. Thank you very much. So we are broadcasting all over the place. Okay, so yeah, there's a little, a few things in the news you might have heard about. We're going to be talking about some of those here tonight. As Eric Adams Mr. Mayor Boondoggle is going au revoir. He's leaving New York. And Mr. Ramdami, Mr. Top Ramen, he is the new mayor. He's coming in there. He is I guess, the anti-Zionist, in theory, but close friends of the Soros. You see this dichotomy we seem to be in every time. It's like if you're anti-Zionist, then that makes then the alternative is, well, you have to pick socialism or new age communism at this point. Communism with leg warmers, I guess. That's the new outfit of it all. So it's a paradigm I'm really not okay with, but that's where we are at the moment. So Mayor Boondoggle's leaving. We'll see what that's all about. He just can't keep his pants on long enough where he has to be traveling to Tel Aviv and going on just not even horsebacking. What do they do over there? Camelbacking? Yeah. Not that it's a bear, but you know what I mean on that one. And as well as we have a whistleblower from the Toilet Paper USA over there, the TP USA. What's it called? Turning Point? Yes, yeah. Whistleblower. It's quite spectacular what he has to say. Quite spectacular. This Charlie Kirk thing will not go away? No, it won't. It's not even going away. That's why they want to get rid of Candace Owens. And I'd be surprised if Candace Owens doesn't take a page out of some of these others and starts using her double, using her clone, because that's how dangerous it is. It really, truly is. So we'll be peering into that. And, she has been really laying some truth bombs lately. I don't know if you've heard. It is just unbelievable, the truth bombs she's been laying about the DuPont family, which I'm going to be doing a special on that hopefully soon. But how the FBI was literally started by the French. And there's a huge connection to the French, hence the French connection. There's some foreign influence. And I think what we're learning in the history that was given to us during our schooling days, what we're learning is that history is not entirely accurate. I know. It's hard to believe. It's not entirely accurate. Which makes me want to march down to my high school and get the history textbook and just shove it down the throat of that history teacher who thought he knew everything. And the civics teacher, too. I want to tell him a thing or two, that piece of carcass who told me I wasn't going to graduate. Well, look at me now. If he's still with us. Anyways, so we're learning a lot about ourselves in this time of day, in this era, this new era, this age of Aquarius. It's just incredible. So we'll be peering into that, and hopefully Candace can outlive her predecessor there. And you know what somebody told me today? People leave a lot of messages all over the place. It was said to me, and I'm just not one for blanket statements quite often. But it was, let me see if I can find it. It's just, people saying the darndest things, but it was something like, you can't trust her. She's in a big club and this and that. And I'm thinking, when did I sign on to trusting anybody? What is she saying that is, well, for one, is not what what is she saying that we're not all saying and or thinking that we should not be subscribing to? That's all I want to know. Because you get so skeptical that even the skeptic is skeptic of himself and others. When I'm saying the contrarian becomes contrarian to the contrarians, then you almost become the conformist. And that's what I learned in algebra. So just, the vague and the just assuming, I guess that's another theme of today, right? Assuming. I love that phrase. You should never assume because it makes an ass out of you and me. That's an old one, a classic one. Oh, it makes me chuckle. Anyway, so that's happening there. And as well as we're going to get into Ozempic is now back in the craze, and I'm going to show you some Ozempic bodies. And you're going to see some people that you know that are household names, but you have no idea who the hell they are. You're unrecognizable. And then there's a Rosie O'Donnell story there somewhere. Yes, there is. Okay, so here's something that seems to be taking precedence right now with people who are really feeling the pain, the struggle, the bewilderness, if you will. Is now we can now announce, as many others have as of tonight and today, is that the layoffs in the United States, well over a million, I think it's 1.5 million. It's just incredible. It's the most layoffs the United States have had that we've had since the pandemic. Yes, everybody's talking about it. As now the layoff announcements are all coming out just in time for the Christmas bonus that you won't be receiving. If you do, it's going to be in the form of a pink slip and with a PS of get out and don't you ever come back again. We're replacing you with a foreigner. Yes. Yes, all the way from, Mumbai, should I say, India. Well, yeah, layoff announcements now top 1.1 million this year, the most since 2020 pandemic. Oh, my God. I'll tell you that much. They're now saying that Christmas said layoffs planned, the new layoffs, there's more to come. There's more. It's going to be coming, they're saying at least 71,321 in November alone. So if you take that and then double it for this month, it's going to be even more of a just real doozy. It's a step down from the massive cuts announced over there in October, but still enough to bring the 2025 total up to 1.17 million. Now, the most cited reason for the month was restructuring, followed by closings and market economic conditions. So, it's not technically all due to the tariffs. So the reconstructuring, as that term you just heard, is like the recoupling that we're hearing, that new term, non-binary, all these new terms, but it really has a lot to do with AI. A lot of companies, I mean, everybody's using AI, whether we know it or not, but everybody's replacing the human with AI. And so now it makes you think that movie we were watching, was that documentary called Terminator, is really coming to fruition right now. And so somebody amongst us here is the true John Connor, if you know the story, because that's where we're heading into. So a bit more on this, though, because I am quite perplexed. Well, they said the U.S. employers now moved further ahead of 1 million for the year of just in November alone as the corporate restructuring. It's corporate restructuring. It makes me think too is when it really corporations come into play. Was it in the 1980s? And how did we survive before corporations? Because corporations became pretty much the deep state. It became the government, and the bigger the government is, the more the corporations, they use that as their bully pulpit to just wipe out any kind of competition. Just like we saw in the pandemic riots. Well, it was convenient that all the riots were going to all the mom and pop shops all over Minnesota. And the only survivors and the people who really thrived through that was, Target, Walmart, all the big guys, Walgreens, all the people that thrived and really got into the game of mask and the other game of the hopscotch 6 feet, 6 feet, please, 666. Yeah, they all just thrive from it. And, they're trying to bring that back again. And we know something is going to happen in December. Everybody's talking about it. Even Deagle, they're saying, guys, we have a quota. We only have a few more weeks left. Let's make something happen. Come on, places, people. They're gunning for it. So let me get through this here. I'm just cutting myself off. Well, now, as I'm telling you here, all these firms, UPS, Amazon, they're leading the way. They're so anti-human. Even Dr. Evil saying, wait a minute, get me more robots like my new wife here, who we're not sure who that is, subhuman. Well, Verizon now has made an announcement that it would like to slash. They want to play too. They want to ante up in the game here. Well, they're saying that they would like to slash more than 13,000 jobs this month. Tech companies driven by innovations in AI. See, there it is, AI. Listed 12,377 jobs reductions, pushing the sector's total up to 17%. So there it is. And just alone in Verizon and the wireless tech, just alone this year, 54,694 layoffs this year. Now, another driver they're saying for the layoffs is the tariffs. Now, the tariffs were cited as the driver of more than 2,000 cuts in November and 8,000 total this year. So a lot of, it's a very polarizing thing, the tariffs, but really, when you get down to the brass tacks, it's the artificial intelligence. That's what it is right now. And let's make no mistake about that one there. Now, here's some other it's just a downward spiral here, but I think you get the gist of it all here. And not to mention the nursing jobs, the airline jobs, everybody that was fired, everybody that, is dead now. There's a lot of just death here. I have I got a friend of mine. She owns a salon, and literally said to me and has been saying that a majority of her clients who are, older people, I guess older people use salons too, contrary to popular belief, but they're all dying. They're all dying from the miracle jab. Or, they come in with bandages, it's just all these ailments and everything, and eventually they're just plopping over. And that's been happening with, people at the airline business, the pilots who have the myocarditis in midair kind of ordeal, all those. And so this is the great replacement theory of all the medical workers, staff, nurses, transporters, everyone who took the miracle jab, and they're just not feeling well anymore. And so there you go. And that was the whole plan of it. And they're just gunning for everybody right now who is somewhat of a dependent on the system. It really is troubling. And we have people on Rumble here. If you want to call in, feel free to do so. We have David Nader, who said he watched the documentary Terminator 2 last night. Dave, am I right on that? And what's the kid's name in real life? Mr. Furlow? I know that's his last name. Yeah, go look at him recently, and he looks like a Terminator these days. Here's another one. We have Hammer Time 0013 over there on Rumble saying, quote, mask brought in to hide their paid minions that did the dirty work, like the 1917 Spanish flu, and communists all over throwing royal Russian family and Ottoman Empire to divide up the Middle East. Thank you, Hammer Time. That was a good one. Okay, and then he says, Cabbage Patch Kids get rid of history through old people. Hammer Time, you're speaking my language. I'm going to get you a Vegemite sandwich just for that one right there. Thank you very much on that one. What he's saying is, okay, the Cabbage Patch Kids, he's talking about 1902, the missing history that Seth Black told me about that I really want to delve into. Thank you for that. Speaking of which, next Thursday, before I forget, this coming Thursday next week is we are now going to be bringing back the last episode of The Lounge, and this is a big one. The Lounge, which will be joined with Mr. Neil Bishop and Mr. Matthew Millen as we go in time travel into the past, looking at the origins of the Zionist infiltration of the West, specifically the Mr. Schofield Bible that every pastor is taught, and it's just going to be a real trip and a real trippy of a journey. That's Thursday in the lounge. You don't want to miss that next week. I'll provide more details about that. It's quite exciting. I wish it was Thursday now. I want to do it, So there's that one there. Anyways, here's Mayor Boondoggle. And then I'm going to show you a dead woman who seems to be speaking and is amongst us, or somebody is. Yeah, I'm talking about the cow fertilizer herself, but here's Mr. Boondoggle, Mayor Boondoggle, rather.
And we have to be as intelligent and as focused, as strategic as possible. That's why we put the IRA definition in place in New York City. That's why I am signing an executive order today to deal with BDS, so we can stop the madness that we should not invest in Israel. That is why we're going to sign an executive order stating that our pension funds will invest in Israeli companies because we get a high return on our investment because they're doing the right thing.
Call me ditzy, but I still don't understand the term BDS. Is it because when I'm thinking of the whips, the chains, the handcuffs? Am I correct on that? Is that what BDS is? Does anyone know out there? BDS. Is it bodily dysfunction servitude? Is that what I'm understanding? So maybe somebody out there who is a BDS expert can correct me, and make sure you give me the safe word too. And if we're going to be playing that game, so you can surely show me a thing or two. All right, so yeah, there's Mayor Boondoggle, really, really virtue signaling, like literally his life is depending on it, and I think it has. I think it has, and I just I don't know. I thought I was going to like that guy, and now I don't like that guy. I hate him actually. So he could not leave New York soon enough, fast enough. There's that one. Okay, so here's another one. Now, I wanted to do this, show you this story too, just the other night. Grandpa Munster stood next to one of the Donald Trumps. I'm not sure if it was this one or if it was this guy here, or who knows at this point. Maybe it was the guy who was also working as the maitre d' at the local. Yeah, there's that one there. But here's Mr. Ted Cruz, who plays the role of the modern day Grandpa Munster, talking about a savings account for all of us, which is really just pinches of the pennies that Americans are getting, because we're third-class citizens behind the migrants who are behind the Israelis. So, we get a little pinch as, we're getting not the gold or the silver, but we're getting the bronze medal in this case here, just being plain old American.
Starting on July 4th, every child in America will have a personal investment account opened for them.
Oh my
Newborn
God.
children will have it
Look at the woman in the
seeded
middle.
with $1,000. Parents and family and employers can contribute up to $5,000 a year in a tax-advantaged account. That money will be invested in the S&P 500 in the stock market, broad-based equity index account. Two massive benefits that change this country. Number one, every child in America will experience the benefits of compound growth. Take a little girl born next year. She's born next year. She has the account opened for her. $1,000 is automatically seeded. Her parents or family or an employer puts $5,000 a year each year into that account. If you assume the historic rate of growth of the S&P 500, which is 7% a year, by the time that little girl is 18, she will have $170,000 in that account. And if she keeps saving,
did the math.
By the time that little girl is 35, she will have $700,000 in that account. That is game-changing, and we're not talking the children of Michael and Susan Dell, the children of Donald Trump, the children of people of great success. We're talking the kids of a single mom waiting tables who could have $700,000 saved by the time she's 35 to get an education, to start a business, to buy a house. That changes their whole lives. But the second benefit, and what I'm really excited about, is we are creating a new generation of capitalists. Every child in America is going to be an owner.
Oh, I can see it now. Every child in America. I want you to touch out, reach out, and touch faith. I'm Ted Cruz. I'm your personal Jesus. So here's Ted. And, I'm so sick of Ted Cruz. I even think Ted Cruz has to be sick of Ted Cruz at this point. I mean, he is the fakest, phoniest, weakest, lamest politician ever. I mean, he's so plastic. There's nothing real about Ted Cruz. The only thing real about him is what a shill he is, what a sellout he is. And yeah, a whore too. Yes. I mean, think about it. If he wasn't in politics, he'd probably be working Sunset Boulevard and Gower, right there in that corner. Guaranteed. Twilight says it is the Palestinian-led movement. Well, why is it called BDS? Boycott. Oh, thank you. I got to look up. Boycott, divestment, sanction. BDS. Sounds like what happens, when you eat too many beans. It's just such a stupid. We have Kathleen who says bondage domination. Thank you, Kathleen. Was not expecting that. Whew. Warn me next time. Thank you. We have Seth Black, who is. Dean, remember, Mary Adams was under investigation for taking bribes for Turkey. All went away since going to Israel and touching the wall. Well, Seth, that's all it takes. Haven't you heard? See, you've been touching the wrong wall. That's not my fault. Okay, and here's another one. Here is we have Liz Marchand all the way from Australia. Thank you very much. She says, how is everyone going to afford $5,000 a year for numerous children in the family? And when can they withdraw on it? Good question. Yeah, I don't know what Australia is doing with their savings accounts for people out there. It is ran by wicked pedos in Australia. You thought it's bad here in the U.S. Oh, man. Their underground bases in Australia, it's beyond my thinking. It's too big for me to think. But I will do a follow-up on Australia. I do plan on that. Thank you for that. And Spoonful says machismo. Yes, I think so. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now, sticking with the theme of getting everyone up to par, we have Hillary Clinton. I know she's dead, but we have the actress who is performing as Hillary Clinton, who is really wagging her finger, her little stank finger at all of us and telling all of us what to do when it comes to Israel. But pay attention. Let's see if this is really Hillary or just exactly who, because Hillary's looking different lately, and they're getting scared because I know the Clintons have to go in for deposition as they're being subpoenaed with the Epstein files. A man who was not a trafficker, who had nothing wrong with him and just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and ask Steve Bannon, who was doing a puff piece on him, and maybe he'll show those tapes too. So here's Cow Fertilizer herself, Hillary Rodent Clinton.
That our students, smart, well-educated young people from our own country, from around the world, where were they getting their information? They were getting their information from social media, particularly TikTok. That is where they were learning about what happened on October 7th, what happened in the days, weeks, and months to follow. That's a serious problem. It's a serious problem for democracy, whether it's Israel or the United States, and it's a serious problem for our young people. And it was frankly shocking to me how little the students we were encountering, not only in this class we teach, which is a very large class, international relations, about crisis decision-making, but students more generally. And that's why I mentioned the social media piece of it, because when you would try to talk to them to engage in some kind of reasonable discussion, it was very difficult because they did not know history, they had very little context, and what they were being told on social media was not just one-sided, it was pure propaganda. And so when you think about how to tell Israel's story, and it's important, it's not just looking internally, it's looking externally, and particularly looking at young people, because, it's not just the usual suspects, it is a lot of young Jewish Americans who don't know the history and don't understand. I was talking to Condi Rice, and, you know, she said in an interview that I did after the...
Oh, I was talking to Condi Rice. You know, the history of the history within Israel, which is about the history. And, you know, isn't this reminiscent of the history of when the WikiLeaks came out and they were all saying, well, you shouldn't be looking at the WikiLeaks. You should be looking at us and let us translate it for you. Or go to your pastors and see if it's okay for you to look at the WikiLeaks about the history within the history. My God. How about the Clintons' history? That's what I'd like for her to explain to us. Wherever Hillary goes, not only flies go with her, but you know, dead bodies everywhere. You know, and not to mention the carcass there. Remember her falling down, and she had the hole in the tongue, and then just, you know, Bill Clinton looked like patient zero from the AIDS epidemic. I mean, these people have to be. I mean, they're more dead than Keith Richards at this point, but they're still talking and they still have people playing them. And it's really annoying. Just to show you how fake it all is. Here's a better close up of this deranged, you know, former politician and who talks about the history of the history. Here it is.
We haven't gotten to the more perfect union, and we fought a civil war
Look at
over
that
part of it. And people have been protesting, you know, for hundreds of years that, you know, things were not as they should be, given our ideals and how we should be moving toward them. So I think that's what makes us so special as a country. And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, you know, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, is just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, you know, bumps along the way, but I agree with you. We were on the right trajectory.
Let me. Wow, did you see that prosthetic mask on that person? Oh, and then here they go after the white males again, like it's, you know, 2017. My word, so fake. It's almost as bad as, you know, trying to use the excuse of well, Hamas is in Venezuela. Yeah, that's right. That's why we're going to have a war there because you know, they're manufacturing Hamas people. That is so stupid if they ever use that. Oh, they did. What's this?
The Venezuelan regime is a source of instability in the entire region. Over 8 million Venezuelans have flooded into neighboring countries as a result of the regime's activities within their own country, including into the United States. They also happen to be the foothold of Iran. That's not spoken about enough. Iran, its IRGC, and even Hezbollah has a presence in South America, and one of their anchor presence, especially for the Iranians, is inside of Venezuela. So,
you know, it's getting to the point where he's starting to look like a Vulcan, and I'm dead serious on that. I mean, something's happening. I think the more he lies, the more Vulcan his ears go. And I'm just saying it's weird. It's weird. You would expect a person like that, like on the cover of the Globe tabloid magazine while in the checkout stand at the groceries. You know what I'm saying? It's getting bizarre here. Getting very bizarre. Twilight, yes, clone. Yeah. I'm telling you, I think I want a clone too, because I can't take much more of this. Seth Black says he got his information from Snopes. Well, that's a good source of, that's a good place to go. You know, I've yet to meet anyone in a legitimate way saying, I go to Snopes for my info. The one guy I do know who said it to me ages ago, he's a total idiot, but just one person. Okay, there is that one here. Here is another one here. We have people on Rumble. Prison Island, Hammer Time says that would be Australia. Yes, Prison Island, and all they're serving is Vegemite. Yeah, that would be Prison Island for me. In fact, I would go on hunger strike. No offense. Yes, it doesn't look like Hillary, does it? No, I don't think so. No. The prosthetic mask was terrible. Terrible. It looked like literally the one I got when I was like 7 years old at Toys R Us. The prosthetic. Wasn't a Hillary mask or anything like that, but Mouth of the South says death bags under her eyes. Hillary, yeah, a lot of sleepless nights because she's just so fabulous. Or she's waiting for Bill to come home from the certain island. Yeah, I agree on that one. Yeah, okay, I think so. Okay, here's another one here. So yeah, they're using the Hamas excuse again to go into Venezuela. It's just like, we have to go in there because Al Qaeda's there. We have to invade and we have to liberate the Iraqis from Al Qaeda, who, yes, we had a hand in creating with Israel and Zbigniew Brzezinski in 1979. But that was then. This is now. All that matters is now. Don't you have the same emotions as me? That's all. You just have to have emotions in this world. You don't need intelligence. You don't need personality. You just need emotions. That's one of the biggest lies. And the other lie is crime doesn't pay. Well, now we can say, if you're in school and you're watching this and you're in high school or less, you tell your teacher, no, you're wrong. Crime does pay. Yes. Look at the people running the show. That's another fabrication. I almost said fornication, but you know what I mean. Now, here's another one that this one hurts. I was involved in trying to help the country of Congo. Roger Stone really dropped the ball. I want to throw my drink at him. Someone else got the contract, and he told me it would never happen. Roger, if you're watching this, shove this up your derriere. You just old, no vision piece of just loser. Look at that. Oh, Congo's giving us their mineral rights now. Right, Roger? You were wrong on that. Because you know nothing. Nothing. Yeah. Yeah, you were wrong. And I was right. He's just a total... Anyways, I'm reserving myself and refraining myself. So there's that one there. Here's something that's interesting here. My meaning is I could have made a pretty penny, but because of Roger, he screwed me. Anyways, long story. I'll put it in the book. I was offered to write a book, I must say, and I'm thinking about doing it over the Christmas break. I'm thinking about that. And I'm not sure what I want to write or how I'm going to write it or who's going to be the ghostwriter for me and spell check, Okay, here's another one here. So, speaking and sticking with Venezuela, because that was Congo. So we're just going all over the place here because that's how my brain is. But, Maduro, we said the hunt for Maduro, the presidente of Venezuela, who offered a whole host of information of who was bringing in all the migrants into the United States during the other fake Arab president. And to no avail, because Mr. Vulcan, just Marco Rubio, the man who has ultra hearing, he can hear what they're talking about at the space station, that guy. Now we're going to war, but also now war crimes and all that is now being talked about with Pete Pegasus. I think that's his name. But also now a lot of information is coming out. Now they offered a $200 million reward for Maduro to either find him, but also to leave. Yeah, it's rather stunning. Let me tell you about this. This is coming out of the Telegraph now. He would have gladly left. Now it's coming out for a just mere $200 million. He was asking for Trump now. That's kind of cheap, don't you think? That's not a bad deal. I mean, $200 million to leave his post and his family. Then you gotta hire movers because you live in a palace. That's a huge house. You're talking $1 million. Just a lot. There's a lot of just overhead there. Well, the Venezuelan president indeed asked to keep, if not loan $200 million of his private wealth back to him. amnesty for his officials and safe harbor in a friendly country as part of a deal with Donald Trump to step down and flee. Sources who are familiar with the fleeing have now said. Also, in coordination with that, those who are familiar with a phone call, which are different than the other people that are familiar with things, they said the phone call between the two leaders who were talking dollars and cents. Well, we're talking a lot about that, as they told that was the actual plan as part of owing Nicolas Maduro's demands for blanket amnesty for as many as 100 top officials as well. He wanted blanket amnesty, and he said, well that's what Obama did that. Why can't he do it? Well, the 15-minute call, they're now saying, not city, but the call between the two leaders also disagreed on how to set up a transitional government. And on the location Mr. Maduro would flee from Venezuela, it still remains to be seen. Although Donald Trump did suggest China, and he heard Russia was good and a nice place to be this time of year, according to one source who's familiar with the new residency in this case. Well, the Venezuelan president was definitely intent on staying in the Western Hemisphere due to the weather and precipitation over there in the equator. And, I guess when you're just accustomed to the Caribbean, very hot, very humid, mosquito frenzied weather, I guess you don't want to leave that. Well, he said in the interim, Qatar, which everyone loves to use as the scapegoat, as the hateful country, Qatar has emerged as a possible compromise. Well, I don't know anything about Qatar, but Mr. Maduro confirmed this yesterday, that he had spoken with the president for 10 days ago about this exact thing. So they're now saying Maduro is now living on borrowed time, and aren't we all? He's nothing, different or unique or special than all of us are. Now, since the call, just to be firm and confirm, since the call, Trump has stepped up the pressure, as we all know, on a hard-line Venezuelan government, with the U.S. building up an armada of warships in the Caribbean. On Tuesday, Mr. Trump said he would be launching strikes on Venezuelan soil. That's yet to be seen, or maybe it's happened and we just have yet to hear about it being here in the peanut gallery. So, this is another disappointing thing, and it really explains why the poll numbers of Donald Trump are going down, because he ran on not being an interventionist and but he never said, just to be fair, he never said that he wasn't going to fight Israel's wars. So technically, he could win in people's court. See, we just didn't ask the right questions back then. Now, it's also worth noting that Mr. Maduro, who seems to be in a rock and a hard place, and again, aren't we all? He said that there's now the bounty on his head. The bounty on his head has been upwards of $50 million for information leading to his arrest for alleged drug trafficking. Yeah. Alleged drug trafficking. And my response to that is, what is the bounty on Bill Gates? Because I think I remember putting a bounty on him in 2020, right in the beginning of all this. I was very laissez-faire back then, very gung-ho, very much a novice, wet behind the ears. So, where's Bill Gates, and what's his bounty, and why is he so important to get rid of? So now we understand how this is going to be just turning out. We truly understand that. And now you can understand why, you hear about all this jargon about Trump staying in power for a third term, going well beyond 2028, because if we're in a greater war with Iran, like FDR was with the powers that be over there in Japan and Germany, he stayed a third term. And I think that's where we're heading here. If I had to put my casino chips on anything, I think that's what it's going to be, because Israel's all for it. They're all going gung-ho themselves for it. Yes, they are. And, what they're not gung-ho for is what's coming out about Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if you heard about him. It's now coming out, and Mr. Thomas Massey, thank God for him. So glad I had the opportunity to shake his hand. Well, now he let the cat out of the bag, or he let the noose out of the bag, the spy for Israel, that is, as it's now coming out just that. And now people are covering it, not in the lamestream You're in Soak media, but in the alternative, very suppressed shadow banned media like ourselves. They're talking about it. I think this is Anna Kasparian, who has been put on the anti-Semite nominee for their Anti-Semite of the Year awards, which we're going to get to after the break. And this is what they're saying about it. And thank you, Thomas. You should be on the Plymouth Rock, Mount Rushmore, excuse me.
So let's get to some of the headlines that were featured over at Drop Site News, because they poured over the Ehud Barak emails to Epstein, which of course were leaked as part of a hack. They also reported on the various documents and emails that were released by both Democrats and Republicans in the House Oversight Committee. So with that in mind, I mean, this is based on hard evidence. They were able to report the following stories. Epstein helped broker an Israeli security agreement with Mongolia. Interesting. Epstein helped Israel build a back channel to Russia during the Syrian civil war. That's not all. Epstein helped Israel sell a surveillance state to the Ivory Coast.
You know, it sounds to me like she's practicing BDSM over there. That was quite hateful, anti-Semitic. How could she even say that? What is she talking about? Well, it only confirms what we've known for how many years now? How many years? That, I mean, it's like the day when everyone started saying, you know what, this Biden guy, it looks like he's wearing a mask. I don't think he's a real president, and nor was he signing the executive orders. Well, thank you. Thank you 5 years later. Thank you. Thank you 5 years later. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to put my prosthetic mask on when I get back, when all of us do. But when we do get back, I'm going to tell you the results of the Real Deal Media's Dirty Zion Awards. Hopefully you voted. And if not, I think we'll do another award show in the interim. But I'm going to tell you the results of that, and we're going to see who won. It's a very close match. Also, I'm going to tell you about the Ozempic diaries and what it's doing to people. And should I take Ozempic live on air? That's another one. I'm threatening that. Also, just how travelers are traveling when they have a lot of time to sit in the airports, twiddling their thumbs, regretting they even traveled to begin with. And it's a whole new era. You're not going to want to miss that. And plus, your comments, questions, concerns, conjecture, right here at Real Deal Media Live. You're not going to see it anywhere else. We'll be back after this quick message.
The Venezuelan regime is a source of instability in the entire region. Over 8 million Venezuelans have flooded into neighboring countries.
We haven't gotten to the more perfect union, and we fought a civil war over part of it. And people have been protesting, for hundreds of years that, things were not as they.
Be a visionary with Debonair, a player from the Himalayas, iconic, not ironic, and become a night owl tonight, where like-minded members get together at the Night Owl Lounge, enjoying extra content, backstage hangouts, exclusive interviews, by going to RealDealMedia.tv. Again, that's RealDealMedia.tv. Join tonight.
We are back. Get me off this merry-go-round here at Real Deal Media Live, unmasked. Unmasked. Yeah. You have to unmask it to really, truly understand it. Welcome, everyone. Welcome back. I am still Dean Ryan, who is cruising with you to midnight and beyond. And, hey, how about that story the other night about Mitch McConnell? That dastardly move from that little CCP, little sea-sucker there, trying to rid the THC, rid the marijuana, rid all of the provisions and protections and all of the gains and progression we had in the last couple of years with true freedom of achieving marijuana, and trying to get rid of that before he just, leaves Senate and puts his other foot right in the coffin, right in the grave where he probably belongs. Unbelievable. And thank God people like Senator Rand Paul is going to pretty much try to stop that from happening, and somebody has to. And I dare to ask, how many lives have been lost, not from drugs themselves, but from the actual war on drugs. I mean, how much devastation has this government, this federal government, which doesn't really belong to us, we're now finding that out. How much devastation has it caused the Central Americans, South Americans, and just everybody in between? I mean, that is the longest war we've been fighting, the war on drugs. And thank you, Henry Kissinger. Thank you for that. Really. We have some people who are commenting. We have Liz Marchant saying the following: we have a big flotilla of Chinese ships in our waters. Our PM says nothing. You know why? Because the PM, he was told to say nothing by China. China owns the mineral. What do they own in Australia? China owns the mineral rights of Australia. They own the water rights of Australia. They own a good portion of the casinos in Australia. And a lot of it, too, is the Australians just never really got into politics. It wasn't their bag, They really didn't understand the Magna Carta as the foundation of the Commonwealth, which has been totally shredded and stepped on by people like Tony Blair, who's trying to get back into the seats of power. I believe he's over there trying to be the head of the EU. There's another S stain that just won't go away, Tony Blair. But Australia has just been, I don't even know. It's just, it's a sad thing. And then there's New Zealand. Okay, so there's that one. Thank you, Liz Marchant. All right, here's some other people on Rumble. Let me get to this here. And let me get to this. Yeah, Melbourne too, particularly. What did I used to say that on, Liz? It was the head of the Chinese Communist Party, the number 2 in command. His son, I believe, owns the biggest casino in Melbourne. Right. But see, now there's a war, and I wish I had this clip. I'm going to find it. But Netanyahu, Bibi Netanyahu, literally confirms what I've been saying for 5 years. He's saying that China is planning to attack Israel. And you know what? I believe that, because that's how this story ends with Israel 1.0. And he knows that. That's why he's selling off. He sold out his own people, because he's not a real Jew. He's a satanic, bagman that's living up to Albert Pike's, dream. And he's selling off the corporations of Israel. That's why secretly, you don't hear it, in the mainstream or whatever, secretly, a lot of people who can, and a lot of Israelis are leaving Israel. They're leaving the country and going to places like Portugal, Cyprus, and Thailand, believe it or not. Yeah, but now he's saying that China is going to implode Israel, and I truly believe that is how this one ends. Speaking of that, here's some of the results here of our voting. Which some of this, you'll see how pathetic it is on X. I don't know how many, 2,500. I mean, I put a post out, it reaches 2 people. I mean, that's how bad it is. And I don't care to even participate on X that much, but it's a good source of things. Here's some of the results of it. The Dirty Zion Awards nominees: Ben Shapiro got 0, Mike Huckabee 50. So he's tied with Ted Cruz. I didn't see that one coming. So that's one of the results. That's one of the results. Let me show you the other one here on YouTube. Another place that has, well, we know that story. Let me get to that one. So yeah, we put a poll on YouTube out, and they only allow me 4 slots. I wish if it was up to me, it could be like 6 or 8. So we asked on YouTube a little different of nominees, you know, a little different equation there. As you know, we asked if it was going to be Pastor Greg Locke, if it was going to be Ben Shapiro again, Mark Levin, and sadly, I don't know why I put him in there, but Dave Rubin. I mean, that's just, even the name's boring. So I wish I never put that one, but you know, what can I do? You can't edit these things. All right, here's more of a scientific poll of who won. And I think the winner of this is without doubt. I think you'll understand who this is. So here is the winner of the Dirty Zion Awards. And look at the percentage right here. Well, Ben Shapiro gets a whopping 61%. Yes, he does. Over Mark Levin. Mark Levin, the brainiac, the man with who sits on the board of advisories on the DHS, the Department of Homeland Insecurities over there. So there it is. Dave Rubin got 0, well deserving. And Greg Locke got 9%. That's fascinating. So I guess the winner here, as we can now announce it, of the RDM presents the Dirty Zion Awards. Vote tonight if you can. Yeah, well, the winner is Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro is the winner of that. So I didn't see that coming. I mean, who would have thought? And he's getting really nervous lately. I don't know if you've seen him talk or if you can even understand it. It's very fast the way he goes. But yeah, he is very nervous. I don't know why he's so nervous. He's so uncomfortable, which I'm truly enjoying. Here's some other things here. Speaking of that, you want to know why we're even doing the Dirty Zion Awards? Do you even really understand what that means? Here's why. And then I'm going to show you Netanyahu talking about China, who is planning on really going the next level there. This is the mentality, what you're going to see here. And, you know, we're focused on this because if we're not focused on this, it's how we got where we are here today. We fought wars. I'm from a generation of an age group that has fought in the Iraq War. People a little older than me fought in the Gulf War. Not for this country. We've been fighting for another country. So we have a lot of lost generations here. And certainly the generation that grew up in this pandemic era is a lost generation, which was started by I think you know. So we got here because we weren't paying attention. We weren't focused on the people that killed John F. Kennedy. And that's why. Here is what I'm talking about.
Just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it. And if not that, because the country will not let that happen, the government. Just the least we can do is just kick them out of our land, because this is our home, this is our land, and we deserve it.
Yeah, this is your home is my home, your land is my land. And yeah, we've all heard that song and dance before. And, you know, that derives, the leaders of certain countries are reflections of the people. The leaders are reflections of the people. Yeah, they are. And to add to that, this is another bandit here. And he's talking about exactly what I saw and knew about, a proxy war between Israel and China. That's what this is about. So now you see a lot of the BDS movement or what have you, or the You see new anti-Semitic hate speech laws coming to Australia, Canada, because that is going to be used as a spearhead to excommunicate the influence of China out of the Commonwealth. This is the proxy war, and this is exactly what is what Netanyahu he's betting on here. Here it is, right here. He's talking just like me now.
We won this war, but it's never ending. It's like if you have cancer and you take it out, it can still come back. It's certain types of cancer, but if you don't take it out, you die. So we took it out. We removed this threat of nuclear annihilation that could have happened within a year. Iran, within a year, within 6 months, could have had its first atomic bomb.
Can I just say real quick, just like Marco Rubio, I mean, this is the elephant in the room. Look at the evil Vulcan ears once again. These two guys have it. Little Marco has it. Am I missing something here? I mean, Bush had it. Just something that's just been weighing on my mind. I mean, like every evil person seems to have the Vulcan, extremely pointy, I don't even know, it's just alien ears.
Bomb. And they would have no compunction about throwing it.
And where do you think Iran is right now on that? I mean, there has been.
I think we pushed them back a lot, Andrew.
How far?
Well, I think it's very hard to manufacture a bomb when your top scientists are knocked out. They had atomic scientists, and we knocked them out in the first 2 minutes of the war, along with their top command. We set them back. Does that mean that they won't try again? Of course they'll try again. But our focus right now is on the Iran axis, on their various proxies.
Okay, thank you.
We won this war.
You know what's so weird too is Benjamin Netanyahu, who sounds like my barber when I was growing up. I went to the same barber for until I was 18, and it sounds just like him. Same voice, same speech. It's actually eerie. He does. That's John J. Sullivan right there, the man who lived in Malibu, the man who was selling furniture, who was playing the saxophone at the local jazz club, as we discovered. That's John J. Sullivan, the man who was a makeup artist for Estee Lauder, don't you know? And now he was just offered to play the role because he's an intel asset of the U.S. That's what we found out too. He got offered to play, he auditioned, he passed, he got to play the role of the prime minister. And he got the audition, and they said, well, hey, you know what? You have the ears to do it. Come this way, kid. So there you have that one. But now swinging back to that, we're talking about violations. This is, people are starting to sweat, of course. Well, it seems to be that Trump and Peck-Seth are, we did an episode called War Crimes on World at War just a few nights ago, and it's really heating up as apparently these Scud missiles or whatever what they use to shoot the fishing boats. People survived that, and the survivors who were clinging on to just driftwood or whatever was left of the boat, there was orders that were given to kill them. I mean, what have we become? Have we really turned into the IDF that much? Has it been that accelerated into just the Tel Aviv, future? Well, here's what I'm talking about. Check this out. This is quite stunning.
Mr. President, the boat strike, if it is found that survivors were actually killed while clinging onto that boat, should Secretary Hegseth, Admiral Bradley, or others be punished?
I think you're going to find that this is war, that these people were killing our people by the millions, actually, if you look over a few years. I think last year we lost close to 300,000 people were killed. That's not mentioning all the families. Have you seen what happens with the families of not only the people killed, the people that are trying to get their son or their daughter off of this poison that they've been fed? I think you're going to find that there's a very receptive ear to doing exactly what they're doing, taking out those boats. And very soon we're going to start doing it on land too, because we know every route, we know every house, we know where they manufacture this crap, we know where they put it all together. And I think you're going to see it very soon on land also. Yeah, please.
So to be clear, you support the decision to kill survivors after the
No, I support the decision to knock out the boats. And whoever's piloting those boats, most of them are gone. but whoever are piloting those boats, they're guilty of trying to kill people in our country. Yeah, please.
That's not good. That's I'm sorry. That's not substantial. I'm not sure that's going to hold in the court of the military. If we're to be just totally frank about it, it's not good. That's horrible. That is just it's blowhard. It's blowhard country right there. We're now going to transition here into the world of Ozempic. Yes, we are. We're going to transition into that, and this next segment is brought to you by Real Deal Media's Night Owls, who say no to Ozempic most of the time, but make it possible. And you can do that by going to realdealmedia.tv. And then I want to talk to you about gold. Is your 401k, is it secure? No. Don't you love those? I can't wait to do gold commercials again. Okay, here's another one here. This is the Ozempic. You might have heard of people like Ariana Grande. No, I don't mean the new pecan latte over there at Starbucks. No, that's a different one. I'm talking about this latte right here that's so thin, it's a skinny latte. Well, let me tell you about this now. As you can plainly see there's clearly something wrong here. Is now Ozempic is now in our Medicare, Medicaid. It's being provided to us. So now when you go to McDonald's and you get the Big Mac with a large fry and a huge tub of just Diet Coke, well, you'll have your Ozempic to go with it, just so you feel better. At least I do. Well, the Ozempic body is the new thing. It's the heroin chic of the world of celebrity, but really just the new era that we're living in of Ozempic. And the fact that it's trickling down to the masses should concern everyone. Yeah, and I am concerned because this is what they're giving diabetics. And diabetics are getting it, and then next thing you know, they're blind. They have just weird. Well, I was just talking to myself here. I just got kicked off. Do you see that? See how this stuff, it always happens. But I don't know what people heard there, but yeah, I got kicked out. Sorry. I'm so pissed off right now. I might take Ozempic. Okay, so let's try this again. So in the world of celebritors, they're now turning into skeletors. And so am I, quite frankly. And some of the people who we thought were just completely irrelevant have now come back into some sort of relevancy, but really half the person they used to be. And I'm not just talking about Ariana Latte Grande there. But here are some of the people. Look at this here. There's LaToya. We'll get back to him in a minute. LaToya Jackson. Look at this. LaToya Jackson is even coming back. And this is not, I mean, LaToya Jackson turned into a broomstick. She lost so much weight, even her silicone depleted. That's unbelievable. Some of these people we don't even know, but it's getting worse out there. And people are, like I was saying, I don't know how much you heard before I got cut off. Yeah, they're giving it to diabetics who are paying consequences they didn't even know about, that their doctors really didn't warn them to begin with. So the new Slim Down is quite infectious. And just the other night, I showed you Sharon and Kelly Osbourne, no doubt. And I think even people like Amy Schumer, sadly, are in there. But here's some other people that you might recognize. Well, I don't know who this creature is. This could be Grace Jones. I'm not sure. Here it is. So this is the this person from the planet Xandu. They even take Ozempic too. Can you believe it? Yeah. And or they're from that show Roots. I'm not sure which one yet. And here's another one. I don't know who that is exactly, but yeah, lost a lot of weight. Weird, bizarre. Oh, here's Amy Schumer, the niece of Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer's lovely wife, Tim Allen. There's Amy Schumer. And here's Ariana Grande. Literally, look at the shoulders. Look at these shoulders. What is going on here? Guys, I don't know if that's attractive to you, but for me, it just makes me, yeah, it's making me quiver, but not in the good way. Yes, we say, Michelle Drum says, lost audio. Hopefully you can hear me now. Okay, here's another one here. If you see anyone you recognize, let me know. Well, I think that's it, but I think the winner of this one is LaToya Jackson. Wow. Wow, LaToya. Somebody screenshot this. The 50-foot tall scarecrow woman. We have Spoonful, who has some desires here, saying, I want to see Michelle Obama on Ozempic. You know what, Spoonful? It's a dirty fantasy, but you know what? I agree with you. I want to see that too. We have Twilight, who's saying, women are supposed to have curves. Not anymore. Not with Ozempic. What curves? What curves? Beth says, man. Yeah, man, oh man. On Rumble, let's see what people are saying. They can hear me. Is she wearing a dress, or is that a dress wearing? Yeah, the dress was wearing her. We have Rumble Mania saying, I get Ozempic emails pushing me to buy. Really? Please send me one of those. I'd love to see it. And you could do that. Email me at info@realdealmedia.tv or just call me. I'll just give you my number. I'm at that point now. Feel free to do that. Info@realdealmedia.tv. And Hammer Time says they sold their souls. Yep. You know what's sad? When you try to sell your soul and there's no buyer. That's even worse. Margaret says, it looks like a man's body. Which one? This one here? Yeah, I think so. Okay. All right. So there's that one here. Here is another wild story. Rosie O'Donnell is in the news again. Yes, and it's not a lot of fans she has these days. I will say I did meet Rosie, and I've showed the picture before, and I don't need to show it again, but I did meet Rosie. She was nothing but nice to me. I kind of stand on the side of how, when you have the president of the United States taking bashes at, her and her small kids, yeah, it's a frightening thing. And, she made a mistake a long time ago, bad mouthing, I guess, Donald Trump. But I mean, at what point do you just have some mercy because her young kids now seem to be affected by it? Well, here's what I'm talking about. Rosie O'Donnell now says daughter solely blames Trump for family's move out of the U.S. Yeah. That's what she's saying. The Rosie O'Donnell says her daughter is holding President Trump personally responsible for the relocation to Ireland. Yeah. And, Ireland's having a lot of problems, and I don't know if she's behind it, but really they're having some very woke problems. Like we got past the woke out here in the U.S. We have a new woke now. We have the kosher woke from the kosher right. That's what we're dealing with, ultimately here. So let me tell you a bit more, and we'll decide what the verdict's going to be. But yeah, here's Rosie right here. This is stunning. I don't know if Rosie takes Ozempic. Now, I'm looking at her. I'm not sure she does, but maybe she does, and she doesn't take enough. You tell me. But let me tell you more about this. Well, so here's what's happening now. The comedian also emphasized that, Trump will not stop bashing her. O'Donnell acknowledged the challenge of shielding her child from political upheaval while still confronting the realities of their situation. As now she lives here in Ireland, she hears what I'm saying to you, and her daughter recognizes what's going on. Does her daughter just not, does she see? Is she blind? I don't understand this. Well, White House spokeswoman, Abigail Jackson, no relation to LaToya, slammed O'Donnell after comedian's last swipe at Trump, telling Fox News Digital that, quote, Rosie O'Donnell clearly suffers from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, and it's better for the entire country that she decided to move. That's a terrible thing. That's a terrible thing. Abigail Jackson reacted. Who cares about Abigail Jackson? You know what? So here's what they're also saying that, whatever. I would live in Ireland. What's so bad about Ireland? Why can't she love Ireland? She has cousins there. What's her problem? But anyways, I mean, what I don't get. What you've bashed Rosie O'Donnell enough. There's nothing more to bash. She's moved. It's gone. It's over. And I don't like the way that you know what I don't like. And you saw this with Larry David. I cannot stand the way that the latte liberals, speaking of lattes, the way they bash Trump or go after Trump. It's not the right way. It's like, everyone attacking the left and saying, well, they're left, liberal tears and this and that, but it doesn't get down to the substance. It doesn't get down to the crux of the problems. Attacking Trump because, he wouldn't concede to the election in 2020. Who gives a shit? That's what the horse you're riding in on, people like Larry David. That's what I'm talking about. I hate that guy. So what? Just like Candace Owens is questioning the Charlie Kirk assassination. Yeah, and we all should, and everything else too. I did that. I was on Instagram accidentally the other day, and a friend of mine, she a sycophant for TPUSA or whatever, and is just fawning over the resilience and the courage of Erica Kirk. And I never comment on anything, and I did, and I said, well, which one of the Ericas is this? You know what she said to me? And I might show you too. She said, one, that you're one of those, she said, one, quote, one, you guys are just ridiculous, with the laughing emoticon. That's all she said to me. And I responded, is there a two? Usually when you start numbering things, that's the anticipation that there's going to be a 2, a 3, at best and most the 4, and there was never a 2. So that was all I needed to understand, that the Trump Incorporated people, the cheerleaders, just want to be popular, and nothing changes after high school, does it? So that's how that one goes. We have libtards like the sound of their own voice when they complain about Trump. They never complain about the endless war. Thank you. Spoonful, you said what I couldn't. Thank you very much. And I still stand with you in solidarity about Michelle Obama on Ozempic. Let's see what people on Rumble are saying. Oh, we have, we have better go to New Zealand for her pig island. What? David Nader says about Rosie. Rosie looks like a Milton from the film office space. They took her red stapler. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, a lot of people out there. I'll give Rosie credit. When she was on The View a long time ago, she was like one of the first people to really talk about 9/11 truth. She brought in Willie Rodriguez onto The View, I believe, to talk about truly what happened. So I got to give her a little bit of credit on that. And when I was speaking to her, literally, we were trying to set up the 9/11 film. I had so many people on this. More tears. And she was interested. But the problem talking to Rosie is she had this assistant. I swear to God, she had this assistant. It was just an old, raggedy, gray lesbian assistant that looked like Cousin It from the Addams Family. And I kid you not, the body odor from this woman was just next level, that even It even killed the flies that were around her. They couldn't even take it. I mean, I don't know why Rosie O'Donnell would travel with this woman who was gatekeeping Rosie for me, because we were talking, talking shop. But that woman, she killed it, and she's killing a lot of things. That it's just, I don't know who it is, but it was horrible. So that's how that relationship ended. Anyways, little story there. Finally here, I'm going to show you now speaking of TP USA, there's now whistleblowers coming out, and I found this to be very delightful as the truth is coming out. And you're going to probably understand, and we'll all understand as the revelations to come, that the fake wife, or whoever this is, the Erica Kirk, was probably behind the killing of Charlie Kirk, because there was a mind-blowing amounts of money that was being offered to the TP USA, Turning Point USA, to use them as the propaganda wing tool of the Christian Zionism movement. And there was other departments. It was very compartmentalized. And Charlie didn't even know about this. And listen to this right now, and then I'll explain a little bit more, because I'm learning a lot of things. Is, hey, say what you want, but Candace Owens has the #1, I believe, podcast in America, and she's way better than Oprah. Way better than Oprah and all the rest of them. Sally Jesse, all of them. Here it is. Let's see what he has to say here.
And I knew Charlie Kirk personally. I want to say on the record that there was a inner circle at Turning Point USA that was constantly working against Charlie and his interests and what he wanted to do, as well as there was a Jewish influence in Turning Point that he was not very fond of, that he wanted to get rid of. He tried doing this. He tried creating a Doge department, and he gets assassinated. Another thing that makes me believe this inner circle was constantly working against Charlie was because of the fact that he had a whole entire branch of Turning Point that he had no idea about, and that was the stock market branch. Now, the thing about this branch is it's been getting millions of dollars poured into it over the past 4 years now, and that's been seen through their latest tax returns, which were also filed late, which was weird, but that's not a topic for another time. This stock market group that Turning Point has been throwing millions of dollars into the stock market for the past 4 years now, and Charlie Kirk had no knowledge of that whatsoever. Now, if you also look into it a little bit deeper, if you look at the staff on that branch specifically, it says 0. It says there's nobody employed in that branch, yet they're pouring $5 million into funds for employees. Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about originally. And I think that he was planning to expose that, and that's ultimately what got him killed.
Well, the more you know. Did you hear that, everybody? So this Turning Point USA thing, many of us here probably didn't know too much about it, just very little. And this was a big deal, is what I've learned since all this has occurred. And they didn't want their JFK to be turning a leaf on them. He was involved with some very, very bad hombres here. And I tell you, this was, I think, me personally, I think he is dead. Where other, Jim Fetzer, who, sadly, Jim couldn't be here tonight, still taking care of his wife. We wish her a speedy recovery. But Jim has, he thinks otherwise, and a different theory or two, which is okay. But nonetheless, I mean, it's undeniable that there is just so much tomfoolery and kabuki theater going on here. And to not mention that, I'd be doing a disservice to my own intelligence. And God knows I'm not doing that again. Okay, in closing here, we have some people. Charlie's still alive. Why they use blue beam protection? I don't know if he is. Joe Rogan said Trump will send mini Trump to fix them when he comes on. There is a mini Trump. There is a Trump who's very tiny. I've seen it. And you have to look at his other daughter, the what's her name? Tiffany. If you go look at her wedding pictures, that's a mini Trump. I totally agree with that. Anyways, that's going to now bring us to Real Deal Media Night Owls. And give, send, go. Giving is the ultimate inquiry, and gesture of good sign of faith. Thank you. Final thoughts here as we now conclude the unmasked episode here tonight of Real Deal Media Live. Yeah, the unmasking, it's ugly. It's ugly. In fact, there's some people we want to say to them, please, no, keep your mask on. That's right, LaToya, you heard us. Amy Schumer, keep the mask on and those legs too. Anyways, but unmasking is painful. It's part of the growing pains. But we have to have some forgiveness for those who were shouting at the Plato's cave, adversary on the wall. You can't blame them in a very confusing world. But then again, Eric Blair, aka George Orwell, told us, well, in a world of universal deceit, telling the truth is such a revolutionary act. And I agree. And that's all we can do. Okay, on that note, I will be back with our members this coming Saturday. We have something special planned that we might share with the general, as Jim Fetzer is turning 85 years old this weekend, and I could not be more happy for him. You would never know, because he has the energy of like a 35-year-old, if I were to say. And it's a very special occasion, so we'll be doing something special in the next coming days. I have to align with him. And next week, you don't want to miss the incredible return of, almost said The View. No, the incredible return of The Lounge with my colleagues, Neil Bishop and Matthew Millen. Yes, we're going to be getting into some very historical time travels of the Zionist infiltration of not just the West, but the Christianity faith as a whole. And it's going to be just a real exciting episode you don't want to miss live. So I can't wait for that one. And some other treats. And the Christmas collection will be officially back starting Monday. So you don't want to miss that. Anyways, on that note, for all of us here at Real Deal Media's Live, this incredible college night, I'm Dean Ryan, saying thank you for sharing a bit of your night with me. Till next time, always remember to stay tuned, stay awake, and never lose your integrity. And I know you wouldn't, as I would never cheat a friend. I'll always dance with the person I brought to the prom. That's the old saying. But on that note, good night, everybody, and defeat this.
I feel so unsure. Just take your hand to the sun. Time can never mend a careless whisper of a good friend through the hearts and mind. Ignorance is kind. There's no comfort in the truth. Pain is all.